Marriage is complicated. Honey, we're home.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Honey, We're Home. I am Caroline Crawford Patterson, and today's guest needs no introduction. It is John Patterson, back for round two.
I'm back. Welcome back to myself, I guess.
To yourself? Oh, yours.
I said welcome back as a...
So in honor of you being here, and because we just started the series Ladies Who Lunch, this isn't Ladies Who Lunch, but I just thought of things...
It is not.
Whatever. I just thought... Okay. Yep. I thought of some things that it could be instead.
Okay.
Men who munch.
Okay. Hey, okay.
Stop. You're making me laugh. Okay. Gentlemen who drink. That's one I thought you might like.
Yep.
Okay. Guys who gab.
Okay.
First of all.
You know I'm not a gabber, though.
That's not true. You wouldn't be here if you couldn't gab.
I can hold a conversation.
You're a guy that likes to gab.
I feel like gabbing is when you just...
How many times has somebody in your life that you've known or known of to your face or about you has said, oh, John could talk to a wall?
I've heard that statement.
Guys who gab.
But I feel like I've heard it in the sense of I can start a convo with anyone. If I was in an awkward situation, I probably could.
Yeah. In Barbie Land, we call that gabbing.
Gabbing? Okay.
Yeah, you can gab. Like if someone said, is John friendly? I would say, oh yeah, he can gab.
But I think when I hear the word gab,
it doesn't matter that you don't like it.
I think about people who keep the conversation going when it's over.
Yeah, like me.
Right. I feel like that's gabbing.
You do it too.
I have a little bit of that.
Just because we don't make it known to you, we're just not trying to hurt your feelings.
Well, I'm glad you told me on the podcast today. That's good to know.
And then the last one I came up with was husbands who humble. I don't want to be humbled though, so.
Yeah, I don't think we want to do that live.
Yeah, ever actually, preferably.
Oh, well, sometimes I get humbled a little bit.
That's so fun.
That's fun?
Yeah.
When you humble me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what the last thing I've been humbled over.
Probably breaking dishes.
That was, yes. So naturally, I want to help out and contribute, not help out. Naturally, I want to contribute, make sure I'm doing my end of the everything. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like I can get the dishes done a lot faster than Caroline, but 1 in every 5 times something might slip out of my hand. But the dishes are slippery. We don't have a dishwasher, so I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's some collateral New York damage that just comes with not having a dishwasher, possibly.
As someone who, to, thousands of people, I've spilled in front of them. I break things. I'm a slippery fingered gal. I don't break the dishes the way that you break the dishes. And you're breaking nice cups.
Yeah,
they're just, you know what? Like they're just going down one by one, and I just feel like I can't replace them because they come in larger sets, and it's very sad, especially when the race to get the dishes done is really defeated when the dishes aren't quite that clean.
Oh man! So this is another humbling moment. I'm doing dishes
They're
yesterday,
spotty.
And Caroline comes over. I'm just observing.
I was inspecting your job because last week when you broke the dish, I said you don't need to go that fast, and my number one point would be because they're not even getting clean.
The commercial, can I pull the flag on the replay, that commercial?
No, I'm not a boy.
Folks will know. Okay, it's a football reference, but yeah, I want to call a challenge on the play.
John,
I do
there are
feel
spots.
Like I get...
No, they're legit. Like, if I could call them mud spots, I would.
Mud spots? There was one glass, I feel like, that you did show me, and it had a little bit of soap residue, but...
And when did I show you that glass? In the moment that I said the dishes aren't even clean.
I think what happened is because I was setting them on the dryer mat, some soap from other dishes splattered on that one.
It's just so fun watching you back yourself out of the corner. I think that was an edge case. But here's the thing, is that if I could just turn around and pick up any dish at all and it have spots all over it in any moment that I needed it, then it's probably usually spotty.
I agree. That's how you should check. It should be a random check. And
here's the other thing, because I know you're going to come back with that. Because 1 in every 5 times, the only reason that the dishes haven't had spots on them for months is because yours truly has been doing them.
Okay. Well,
So how could they have spots when they're perfect? I might be slow, but I'm diligent.
I'm wearing the chef hat as of late. So
No, I know.
I just want the people to know because I don't want them to be like, oh, he doesn't want.
No. You cook like every single night. I cooked last night.
Just laying it out. You did. It was great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But you did the dishes the night before.
I did.
Yeah, and that was great.
In record time, with no breaks. It's Olympics time. I'm trying to break world records right now.
You are so crazy.
World record. Home record, at least. Not world record, home record.
It fully sounded like you said home wrecker, but...
No. Yep, I wanna break
the home wrecker world
the home record. That's pretty good.
Yeah. It's actually not good.
No, that was a pretty good joke. That was a pretty good joke. I was saying, like, we're riffing already at the beginning of the podcast. I was saying that's a pretty good...
Yeah.
I can see how that's a bit confusing.
Yeah.
Okay. Men who munch.
Men who munch. We do drinks.
That's not...
Yeah, this is Men Who Munch. We usually do drinks. So we have coffee today because we're both extremely sleepy. We've been sleeping pretty terribly recently.
Yeah, it's been a tough allergen season. I feel like, I don't know, it's bouncing back right now.
Well, part of it, like, getting old is being a little too aware of, like, what...
Wow, you can say getting old, but if I say getting old in reference...
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll just...
Do you want to finish that thought so you can prove yourself wrong?
I was going to let you... I think I'll cut you off. Keep going.
No, go ahead. Be my guest. Finish it.
I don't want to gab. I don't want to gab.
Why don't you just pinpoint right there?
Yep. You see, backing myself into the corner.
I can, yeah.
I see that now.
I could see it.
Okay. All right. What were you saying?
I was saying that as you get older, you become more hyper aware of, like, the smallest things that impact your sleep. So, like, for me, I'm like, wow, I haven't vacuumed the room in 5 days. Like, tough night's sleep. And it, like, is actually a real thing because there's so much dust. Our building is so old that there's so much dust that emanates from it at all times that it's, like, actually significantly decreases the air quality when we sleep. Or, like, I can tell when we need the humidifier on to sleep. And it's just, like, a whole process.
No, I generally can tell when I wake up and about 3 p.m. of that day. Because I do everything else the same, but when 3 p.m.
I was
hits,
like, I've never seen you sleep until 3 p.m. When you get to 3 p.m.
When I get to 3 p.m. in my day, I'm at the desk, and I yawn. And it occurs to me, wow, I didn't sleep well last night because there's no reason I should be tired right now.
Yeah.
I did a cobra this morning. That should carry me at least 6 p.m.
Mine occurs to me at like 8, 12, and 30 seconds. About 30 seconds after I get up. This is going to be a real hard day. Yeah. Okay, so why don't you pour us a little bit of wine?
All right.
This is it's okay. You can move your mic to the side. Yeah. And I'm going to put my straw in my coffee. So we have iced vanilla lattes. And we have this wine that actually we discovered, and it's only $14. And it's great chilled. It's like, if I could call it a summer red, that's what they said the other day at the wine store. They were like, we'll rename it a summer red. And it's great to make sangria with. Will you read us the name of it?
The name is La Petite Perriere.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Perriere.
Wait, can I see that? Perrier?
Amen. There it is.
That might be wrong. It's great though. You can
Perriere.
For those watching, you can see the label. But it is really good. So it's a Friday afternoon over here. We've got a combo of caffeine and red wine, and it's like 100 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we really get into it, I would really like you to explain to people why I'm not allowed to wear this gray headband right here.
Oh man. So for those that are watching, it's a gray headband. It's thick.
Yeah, I think this is a girls dressing for the girls trend.
I hope that you post this. I really do. I told my wife that when she wears this headband, she looks like Trevor Lawrence. And if we could get a side by side, there's a girl on Instagram or on social media that she was said to look like Trevor Lawrence because she would wear the headband, and it's almost uncanny. And
that was the guy's side of Instagram. I would never get targeted with that content.
I'll make sure to show you the video.
How hard did you laugh?
It was pretty funny.
Who did you send it to?
Nobody. That one was one that. That one was one that everyone saw. I feel like.
Wow.
generally widespread.
I put on this headband today, and he was like, please. Actually, he didn't say anything. I was on the phone with my best friend, and she said, that's ugly, take it off.
Yep.
And I just heard a giggle in the background.
It just is. I feel like I've said the words, oh, everything, like, I feel like you put something on, everything looks good on you.
Yeah. You have said that. But this is my Trevor Lawrence headband, and I feel like I shouldn't wear it when I'm around you. To be fair, I don't think I can rock the headband trend that well, but I have paint in my hair right now, and I was really just looking for a way to cover it up.
There it is.
Okay. So before we really get into these questions, because I want you to give us a background on us a little bit and like family stuff. Ballerina Farm. There's controversy on this, and our controversy is not your controversy.
Yep.
Our controversy is the other day I went into the room and I went to John and I said, this is right when the article came out. John, what do you know about Ballerina Farm? I was like, have you seen the Ballerina Farm stuff? Or do you know what Ballerina Farm is? Yeah. And this is what you said to me.
Well, so yeah, I admit I was like, no, I haven't heard anything. I was like, is that where ballerinas go to get famous?
Yeah.
Or like go like, cause I'm thinking about like a baseball farm team. And so you have like smaller teams that people go to before they get called up.
I didn't get the farm reference until just now.
To the big league. So I'm thinking like maybe it's a ballerina farm where you go to grow your ballerina talent before you hit the big streets of Ballerina Town. So
that interaction has inspired a segment called What Does John Know About Pop Culture that we will get to later in the episode.
Okay.
And I just thought it was a funny little dynamic. Okay, so we're going to do a little background on us for those that didn't listen to our first episode together or that maybe don't follow along on social media. John and I have been married for
3 years.
3 months.
3 months.
And 2 days.
And 2 days.
We only know this because the other day we were like, it's 3 years and 3 months. So when did we meet? Why don't you tell everybody when we met and how old we are, etc.
Yeah, we met in October of 2015.
Yeah.
I was a sophomore in college. You were a junior.
Yes.
And we met on a homecoming weekend, which is like any school that I feel like has a football team. I feel like the homecoming, or basketball has homecoming too, I think. But homecoming weekend, we were out and about and met. We had class together that semester, public speaking class, which I feel like, you know, is playing out right now, even though there's no one in the crowd. Still counts. And we have been together what is coming up on 9 years total.
Yeah, it is true.
Yeah. And we got married in May of 2021, May 1st.
We did. And John is 28. I'm 29. Yep. I actually turned 30 September 2nd.
It's coming up.
It's coming up.
The big, small, insignificant, normal 3-0.
I mean, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
But, like, not because I'm getting old.
Right.
Right.
Just because it's the next year on the calendar. And it's
like
a
new
round,
era.
It's a 0 at the end. That's it.
Yeah, like, what did I say to you the other day? I said I feel like I'm getting younger because I feel like being in your late 20s is older than being in your young 30s. Because being late in any decade is already, like, the way that we talk about it or the way that it's, like, signaled, like your early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, it's like it's signaled to be like the elder part of an era versus like everybody would want to be in their young anything.
Yeah. No, I get that. So yeah, we're in our late 20s compared to people that are 22. We might be like, when my brother came into town, he's trying to go out every night. We don't have that same energy.
And he dead ass said that to us.
He did. He said that he said
you forget I'm 21. Like
he's like, I'm not tired. It's 11:30.
He's like, I'm not tired like
energy.
You guys.
Yeah. So, but I feel like maybe when we're in our young 30s, maybe we're a little bit more active. I don't know. I feel like we know people that are in there.
You're a little mature for your age. You in your young 30s is gonna be like so, like dad activated era. Like even if it hasn't happened yet, like it's gonna be
trying to be on the
coach
grill.
The soccer team vibe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, where's the table at Little Sister?
I know I know. I feel it. I feel that brewing.
It's just funny because I go through stuff. I feel like this is so creepy. I feel like a little bit like your older sister sometimes, or like I go through something.
People are gonna hate that. They're gonna hate that comment.
I go through something right before you go through it. Like I had an era. It was like 27, I think, where I like wanted to start going out again. But you were
just coming out
25, 26, and you were like, I just want to cook at home. And then when you turned 27, you were like, what's with like going out? Like, why aren't we going out anymore?
Yeah. I'm like, why have we not been to these clubs? I don't understand.
And I was like back in my like, happy hours and dinner and home. And it just was so funny because I don't hate it. I'm always down to get on your vibe and you're always down to get on my vibe. And I think that's what can be really fun versus like being in different places of life. Like we like to catch each other's wave and we always like find a balance.
No, we're both looking for an excuse to tell each other that we're not being lame for staying at home.
Yeah.
And most of the time, one of us convinces the other person, okay, well, we'll just get a glass of wine or we'll.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we end up turning into something.
When we get on the same page, though, about staying in.
Oh, it's.
No, but then we question each other for like the rest of the evening. We're like, that was okay, right?
Yeah. But I think generally we're on the same
okay.
page.
I think we're okay. Okay, so, do you want to tell everyone how old we each were when we got married, where we lived, like our pattern of living history?
Yeah. Well, so I am going to do quick math and say that I was 24.
You were.
And so we were living in Charlotte, North Carolina. After we graduated from Wofford, which was in South Carolina, Spartanburg, South Carolina, we moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. You were there for 4 years. I was there for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
You were?
That's crazy.
And I feel like that entire time, New York was in the back of your mind. And as we were approaching the wedding, that's when TikTok, social media started to kick off for you, and you jumped into that full time. And
it made the move easier.
Yeah, it definitely was like, after we got married, we're like, okay, I think we're actually going to do this New York thing. And that was a few months after we got married in 2021.
Yeah. That is true.
I think we have been talking about it for a while. I think for me, it became real.
It's a different timeline for you.
You were always going. For me, I was like, oh, we're doing this. And then I was like, oh, yeah, we're doing this. And I think I got more and more excited about it as we kind of got through the summer. And
we did get a question about like moving to New York as like a married, like after you got married as a young married couple and like the adjustment. And I will say that for as long as I wanted to be in New York, like I never even wanted to be in Charlotte. And I'm so happy that I was there. But like that all just to say that like I didn't move to New York as soon as I wanted to move to New York.
Yeah.
Everything had to work out. And me being able to leave Wells was a huge catalyst for the move because that was the number one concern, like finding 2 new jobs at the same time. And this was like pre-COVID and then like during COVID. So the whole work from home capability wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
Like
no, you were going to be in office. And then COVID was a big ripple, I'm sure, for a ton of people.
Right.
But yeah, COVID paused everything. It paused job search. It paused the thought of moving.
But moving with a partner to the city is particularly difficult because of how it works finding somewhere to live here and how quickly you have to be able to find something to live. Like, you have to wait essentially like until the month of your like moving date. And you don't really want to like double up your rents because you are most likely taking a rent increase when you move here, and your income increase might not be equivalent to your rent increase. Like it's a very expensive move, especially with like broker's fees, everything like that. So like the timing of it really has to be impeccable, and having 2 people that align start dates and new jobs at the same time.
Yeah. No, it's tough.
Yeah.
Again, I'm sure the people that have done it would all kind of agree, like, oh yeah, there are definitely hurdles or barriers to entry to get into the city, but it's worth it because once you kind of figure it out and find your spot, generally people feel like are tend to be excited. I don't want to speak for everybody, but at least we were excited once.
It was great
once we navigated it, but it definitely was a barrier to entry, and it was a high stress, I would say, situation. But I think we kept just telling ourselves and each other. If other people can figure it out, we can figure it out, or we can.
That is true. That has taken us a long way. And then I have thought this, and I heard you actually say this on the phone to someone once. And sometimes I just hear you say stuff on the phone, and I think it's cute because I'm like, oh, I feel like you listen to things that I don't think that you listen to sometimes that I say, or like in my conversations with other people. You were like, moving here like has made me realize that we really could do anything. And I think that that's true because when the idea of something is so difficult, or all of the conversation around it is so negative and barrier to entry and whatever, it really deters you from trying and creates this fear of how difficult it's going to be. And when you accomplish that, or you make that big move and you come out on the other side of it and you realize not only did you do it, but you did a pretty decent job of it, and you're happy, you feel more confident that you could make other large life decisions and life changes that you previously maybe wouldn't have thought were for you.
And again, I think we say that from the standpoint of, I feel like people are doing amazing, big, overarching things, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of times, I would say the majority of people kind of live in decent proximity to where they grew up or where they went to school.
That's
or
true.
All the different things. And unless you have a strong catalyst where you had a job offer or someone asked you to move, sometimes it's hard to have everything perfectly moving in one direction and then just jumping and saying, okay, I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately, it's something that someone said to me at work, and it's kind of stuck out to me, is sometimes we create barriers or put ourselves in a box where there really isn't a box. I think sometimes it's you could quit, you could move back home, you could sell all your belongings.
I'm the person that told you that.
No, well, it's a different
Sometimes
point.
That is the literal theory. That is the Cobb salad theory from Modern Family.
It's a different point.
It's not a different point.
I think it is.
Because I know for a fact you also heard me say this to your brother. The worst thing that can happen is you go back home. You can always go back home. If it doesn't, like, you can always go back. And in most circumstances, if you don't like it, don't stay. You know, like, we act like everything is such a permanent decision, or we don't have the right circumstances for it.
Yeah, no, I know people that have interviewed for jobs, taken a new job, didn't like it. 2 months later, they went and got another job. But it takes energy and effort to do that, but it's not impossible.
And obviously you don't want to, that's no one's like goal to do that.
Right.
But if it allows you to take a risk or a leap of faith, then that's a good mentality to have.
While you have the opportunity to take risks, because sometimes you don't. I think that's a fair point too. Sometimes you don't have anything to fall back on, or you have other responsibilities that you kind of have to prioritize. But sometimes I think we create a barrier where maybe there isn't a real,
or we're so obsessed with our circumstance being what it is, like we're so attached to it, like even the bad parts about it, that we fail to even see the opportunities when they're in front of us. Like, we're not even allowing ourselves to see an opportunity because we're just so attached to what our circumstance is. But it is true. It's just, for us in this phase of life, we can say, and that's what we were telling your brother, and I'll tell my sisters that too, you can always go back home. I just never felt like that was an option. And then in the past few years, my mom would say, you could have just come home. And I just remember thinking, why did I never allow myself that thought? Like, I didn't take a risk because I didn't think that I could go back home or whatever it was. Maybe it's because someone actually had to look at me and tell me, like, it's actually okay if something doesn't work out. You know, like, it's going to be okay.
You'll never reach any goal or be able to do something you truly, truly desire or care about unless you take some risk. And we used to always just joke, every time you fail, you're just a little bit closer to what you're actually meant to do.
It's true. And but it is fleeting. Like, to your point, there are times when people have things tying them to a place. For example, one day we'll be parents.
Yeah.
And the freedom that we have right now.
That's why I say calculated risk while you can, while you don't have certain responsibilities.
Right. Because at some point other people will be depending on you, and there'll be school schedules and lots of other factors. We discuss this all the time, like, oh, where are we going to live? Well, how close is it to, you know, a daycare or school district or whatever it is? Like, so many other things. You can't just act as flippantly or courageously, because if it doesn't work out, there are people depending on you.
Yeah. Well, I always think about my parents when we moved from Chicago to Atlanta.
Yeah.
We moved to the area. They didn't know anybody. We weren't close to family. They made big risk and big decisions moving when they did. The economy, how it was at the time, jobs, finding new jobs, trying to find the area. And
they moved in 2008.
Yeah. And ultimately, I think they describe it as something that in that moment it was super hard, and kind of felt like people were looking at them saying, well, why are you all doing this? It might not make sense for X, Y, or Z reason.
Let's give a little context.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Chicago, in the city of North Chicago.
Yeah.
And you were near your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins.
Yeah.
Both of your parents grew up in or around the North Chicago area.
Yeah.
And in 2008, your parents decided to move to Atlanta. And the only familial tie that you had to the South at that point was your mom's parents had gone back and forth between Alabama and Chicago for some years. And at the time, they'd moved back to Alabama.
Yep.
So that was about 3 hours away. But they picked up and moved to Atlanta, and one of your parents got a job first.
Yeah. So I want to say my mom got a job first, and then my dad was still looking, and then finally he got a job, but it was like one of those situations where he had taken a pay cut to go to this current job, but was still looking for
a huge pay cut.
His current role where he works in today. And so I think it just is interesting, like, hearing them tell that story, and I'm like, wait, why? How could you moved without jobs? Like, what are we even talking about?
Right.
And things were super tight, and probably were in Illinois, in Illinois, maybe felt different. And so it just is always, it's interesting that they did that, and I feel like it was pivotal to my upbringing and us growing up where we did, and outside of Atlanta and Gwinnett County. Obviously, kind of created the future that we have today. And I wouldn't be in New York working at Goldman, or have played football in college, or my youngest brother probably wouldn't have played football in college. My middle brother probably wouldn't be
in Spain.
Getting a master's degree in Spain. Not saying that it's impossible, but it is also the current track that got us to where we were was based on the decisions that they made.
And the risks that they took.
Yeah.
And that decision specifically was for you guys.
Yeah.
So, on that note, you're the oldest of 3 boys.
Yep.
Your middle brother is just coming home from a year in Spain, and hopefully we'll go back. I just sent him an article yesterday about how Italy and maybe even Spain are offering to get American students over there by paying for their grad school programs. And he was like, hopefully that'll be me. So we're trying to get him back over there. And then his youngest brother is playing ball in college right now as well. Yeah. You can share their names if you want to. I don't know if you care.
Jace Patterson and David Patterson.
Yeah. And David was just with us for like 8 days.
Yeah. In between the end of summer and fall camp, he came in. And
so there was like about a 10-year... There's like an 8 to 9 year age gap between
myself
and you and your youngest. And our siblings, even though I have one extra sibling from him, they're all about the same age, which makes it really fun. And we're both the oldest. Yeah. So then John went to Wofford to play football, and I went to Wofford because I wanted to go to any other school besides Wofford, and my parents sent a deposit to Wofford, and that's where I went.
There it is.
And then John and I met. And I'm from Charleston, so. Then we moved to Charlotte, and then we moved to New York. Yep. And that was like always the goal. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to give an elevator pitch of my family structure. And I want you to say the order of who everybody is, and a little funny personality thing.
Wow. Okay, so I'm going your mom, Mama Grace, as I call her. She's my bestie. I'm going. What? How do I even describe her? Literally, kindest human being, super nice. She has a wicked sense of humor,
Yeah, she's
meaning
funny.
she is going to, like, it's borderline, like the pranks. I'm like, dude, that is not funny, but she literally
Yeah.
is crying, laughing after getting over on y'all, which I
Like when
always,
she like crawls into her room at like
Yes,
midnight
or
and is like screeching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the pranks are
Right.
hilarious.
Yeah.
But no, she's honestly super thoughtful, caring.
Yeah.
Love Mama Grace.
Yeah.
Robert, your dad, I'm going handy. That's
Yeah.
the first thing. Like, literally super thoughtful and handy.
Yeah.
I always describe like my dad as like, you know, we were playing sports growing up. He never really taught me how to nail or saw. That wasn't really the things that we were doing. So I feel like I always respected your dad. Like, he bought me my first like toolkit, battery daddy.
Yeah.
He's like, we're in the backyard making doors and barn, like, I don't know, just a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
And then he also made me this cigar holder.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
From scratch, which was super sweet.
He needs to sell those.
Yeah, he's like just good dude.
Yeah.
So then you got Margaret, who's right beneath you. I'm going just straight up.
And she
I'm
just
saying-
turned 27.
Just turned 27. The thing that stands out to me about Margaret, she's like, it's like quiet, sneaky, funny.
She is hella mouse energy.
Yeah, so she's always there, quiet in the background, but then when she says something, it's a snipe and it's gonna make you laugh.
Yeah, that's true.
Loves super hard.
Yeah.
Like, loves animals, just super kind hearted.
That's true. I think it's funny that you call her Margaret.
Yeah.
I guess
Margaret
I
Rose.
call her Margaret now too, but that's like my nickname for her. I'm like, you're Margaret Rose.
Yeah.
Because then like she made me stop calling her Roro.
Yeah.
That's so, I mean, like she's definitely going to be like Aunt. What do you think for aunt names? Like I'm thinking Aunt Roro.
Yeah, I can see that. It's an easy row.
I mean, just like back to the roots. Yeah. You got to go back to the roots. And then I would call her Marge, Margie, Marg. She didn't like any of those. Rosie. People love that one. She's MR. My mom loves MR. Everyone has way more nicknames than me. It's so frustrating. All right, next.
I'm going Sarah next, who I always say Sarah's a twin. I feel like she's my twin.
Yeah.
Normally we're in the background, like, both looking at each other like
Yeah, judging.
Caro's tripping right now. for whatever different situation it is. But I would say
Shut up.
she's hilarious, loves the word geek. And probably the other foodie of the house, which I feel like we connect on a ton. And then the baby.
Do you like all of her food recs?
I would say she like, me and her have different palates, but we both respect each other's choices.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the baby Claire.
Yeah, the
who
baby.
is honestly, she's the funniest one of all of y'all. Best singer. She's the best singer.
I mean, I'm aware.
Yeah, but and also in a satirical way. And
because it's the videos.
it's the video. She was singing as a kid. I wanna see you be brave, and she does the little arm rock, which is it's a gold video. We might need to link that to something as well.
It's a guaranteed giggle.
But super
it
sweet,
has
super
somehow
smart.
like, I don't know, she just like stopped singing for real. So now sometimes when she's like messing around, she'll like belt it out,
And we're like,
and John will freak out.
like, come on, Claire, come through, give me some more.
Right.
She also is a dog lover and just super calm.
Yeah,
I feel like she also takes on people's emotions very thick.
Yeah, which is why I think she should be an animal psychiatrist.
Yeah, well,
Tell me I'm wrong.
She's in psychology major. She's making it happen.
Right, but I think she's been animal psychiatry. So Margaret's 27. She went to CFC, and she lives in Charleston. Sarah is 21. Her and David are the same age, and she is at AUP, which is American University of Paris. She is currently working the Olympics, and she literally saw the Simone thing yesterday. She saw her take home gold. So she saw the all arounds. She went to go see the finals. It was really epic. She said the stadium was silent. She said it was more intense than a Taylor Swift concert.
Wow.
Which is really saying something.
Yeah.
for that to be like Mortensen and Eras, and Taylor Swift obviously like made her self known there. She was part of Simone's routine.
Was she?
Yes, John.
Interesting.
What have you been doing with your time?
Just
not listening to Simone's 4 routine. And then Claire is 20, and Claire's 20, and she goes to University of Colorado at Boulder. Oh. And she's living her best little mountain life all the time. So that's me and all my sisters in the dynamic. So I did last week bring up a prank that we played on you. Would you like to revisit it from your perspective?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, we might as well.
Give a little recap, because not everybody has heard.
So we were in Paris. We were eating at a super nice restaurant. Should probably link that as well.
No, it's a famous restaurant.
Famous restaurant.
Sarah like found
a res. I don't know how we were able to get in.
Yeah, it was like yes.
We're coming downstairs, and Caroline's in front of me, and she turns around and is just like, smile. And when somebody just says smile, this is what it's like having an influencer wife, content creator wife, social media wife, because I have to say all three. Because the phone is just always out, and then randomly you're just being photographed. And I didn't like the pose that she caught me in. It was an off guard, and I went immediately. She showed it to me, and I'm like, delete that. She's like, no. She's crying, laughing.
Yeah.
Because she knows that I don't like the picture.
And it's really funny.
We're not linking the picture.
You guys wouldn't think it's funny, because I showed it to somebody who was like, oh, cute. And I was like, you're not a real friend, because everyone that's a real friend busted out laughing.
Yeah, no, it looks bad. My brother saw it. He cried laughing.
No, it doesn't. You don't look ugly. That's not why it's funny.
No, it just is the pose. It's just
your
a bad
body
pose.
looks contorted.
Yeah, it was like when you take a picture on portrait and it messes up a little bit. That's how it felt.
Yeah, but the smile was just something I've never seen on your face before. Yeah, I've never seen you smile like that.
And so the last time we were in Charleston, they went to CVS and got a big blow up of this picture and framed it, put it on a frame that's already in the house hanging on the wall. So they called me upstairs, and I'm just standing there talking. They're waiting for me to notice the frame. Now, this is a picture gallery wall where there's just a bunch of pictures up there, so I'm not really looking at the pictures.
But you were the only person not on the wall.
Yeah.
And then earlier that day, you literally sent me a picture of my great-grandmother and said, Mrs. Maisel, ?
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. Your grandma looked like Miss Maisel. It was ridiculous. It was honestly.
So you gave us the idea. Anyways, continue.
And it probably took me 5 minutes to notice it, which felt like a very long time probably to y'all. And I noticed the phone recording before I saw it. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Because everyone was kind of acting a little weird. And I'm like, why are y'all recording? I'm like, am I on, what's going on? And then I literally looked up and saw the picture and just bust out laughing.
Yeah, you fell on the floor.
Yeah, because just seeing it large, I feel like also made it worse. It was like the CVS blowing it up. Just almost contorted it more.
Where did I put it the next day?
Now it's just a repeat of the picture. Every time I open the fridge, pantry, bathroom, go outside,
I taped it to his cookies.
It was.
I taped it to the fridge, so when you open the refrigerator, it's just staring right at you.
So I told them I was going to prank them back, but
you haven't.
I haven't.
Right. We've all made decisions on your weakness as a prankster already. So
I know it just is a hard follow through. I basically do the fake prank where you're like, "Oh, is that wine? Is that
you're
wine
a Winston
good?
Pranker.
Is there something wrong with your wine?"
I love you immensely. You're very funny.
Yeah.
You give Winston prank energy.
Either too big or too small.
Yeah. But I think you're too scared to go too big.
Yeah.
I really do. So that was fun. I do recommend that to everybody. The idea that we had afterwards was to take it and go put it in all the stores, all the frames at Marshall's.
Oh, man.
And then take you there and walk up and down the aisle.
That would be extreme.
I mean, I said this last episode. I said,
might die of laughter.
We're Delia on Love Island. Anything bad you have to say about me, double it, make it worse, because I know it's a mean prank and it's still funny to me. It's fine. Okay, so we did ask some listeners what they would want to take this time to ask you, and we got a lot of good questions. The first one is, and it is work related, going right back into that.
Yeah.
How do you feel best supported when work is busy by me? And how do we deal with different sleep schedules? And also, what is one way that I could like support you better when you're stressed out at work?
So I would say work for me, I think I just run stressed.
Yeah.
Naturally. Like I care about my work. I care about the people that I work with. I want to do good work. And so I'm constantly thinking, dreaming, talking about ways to enhance stuff, ways that I can do better, ways that I maybe missed.
Yeah.
Like I think my misses end up being really heavy for me because I'm like, not that I want to be perfect, but I really care and I want to do a good job.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I feel like sometimes I come home.
Yeah.
I'm still in my head. I'm still in work mode. And sometimes I'll text you during the day or when I get home like, dude, I'm getting crushed or I feel like I'm stressed right now. I'm having a tough day. And I've gotten better at coming home and just talking about it and just ripping the Band-Aid off real quick. Hey, for the first 5-10 minutes, let me just go in and, dude, this sucked. This was tough. This was hard. This was great. I enjoyed this. These are looking good. Just kind of giving you that rundown. And I feel like you listening. And also when I tell you, like, for example, this week I told you, I was like, hey, I had a tough day. I don't even want to talk about it. And you're like, you know what? We don't have to talk about it. Let's talk about something else. Let's go get something to drink. Let's hang out. Yeah. I feel like you giving me the flexibility to give you the explain for my day or not is helpful because sometimes I know that you want to know about my day because you haven't seen me all day. Yeah. But you also will let me say, I just literally don't have capacity to even explain to you what happened.
I wait for you at the door.
Yeah, the door's open when I am walking up.
Yes.
Which is exciting too. I feel like coming home to you being excited. And sometimes when you're stressed out at work too, when we're both stressed at work, it can be so tough because I'm excited for you to be at the door excited. Yeah. But then when I walk in and you're in the corner like grinding, I'm like, hey, love. And you're like, hey. I'm like, can I have a kiss? Yeah. And I like, sometimes I feel like we do a good job of giving each other space. And I feel like we also re-underwrite on a daily, weekly, hey, what do you need from me? How can I help you? What are things? Just the other day, you were like, hey, I'm feeling really stressed about these 12 things. Let's talk about it. Let's pray about it. And also, I don't have time to do these other things that are necessary. So, yeah, I'll step in and whatever we can to balance each other out. And I feel like you do that for me, too, which is super helpful. And then from a like sleep schedule, so this is something we've talked about a ton. I feel like we've ebbed and flowed a lot in our relationship on this topic. Early on, it was very important for you that we went to bed at the same time. You wanted to have a night routine and get into bed at the same time every night. Yeah. And that was tough for me because I can stay up late. I can stay up till 11, 12, 1.
That being late is really...
No, it's late because of what time you were going to bed at that time. Yeah. That's 2 hours after you maybe at one point in time. So I feel like I can muster up the ability to stay up late just to like work or finish doing what I need to do. But it was tough for me when I felt like I had to go to sleep because we were done watching our show and you were ready to go to bed. And I feel like we had a conversation like, hey, our goal is to go to bed at the same time. But we know that we won't. Sometimes you're going to be up late, like uploading the podcast, or I'm going to be up late working or calling a friend because the only time I can talk to him is late at night, whatever it is. And so I feel like setting the initial intention of when we can, let's go to bed together, but then when we can't, it's okay. You're not putting a harsh expectation on the other person, but also just telling them, hey, I wish I could go to bed with you right now, but I'm working on this, or I just need more time to unwind, but I love you. Right. And when I come in, I'm going to give you a kiss and cuddle you, and maybe I make up for it in the morning. Even the same thing, we wake up at different times, but every morning I give you a kiss and a hug before I leave or before I go about my day or before I get ready. And I feel like we just try to check in with each other to make sure that that's okay.
I think I'm getting like two things from this conversation. One is that it's flexibility. Yeah. And two, that it's like unhindered communication. Like I'm noticing that I don't ever feel like I should not communicate something. I'm giggling because like this is not the first time I've noticed that. Like I don't ever think to myself like, oh, maybe you shouldn't say that.
Nah.
Ever.
Nah, you gonna let it out.
I don't ever think that.
You don't care about, hey.
Yeah, I mean,
why you ain't a good secret.
Bro, like I'm not gonna fall to the narrative that that's like high maintenance, because if it's a thought I'm having, it's a thought I'm having, and I can either keep it to myself and be resentful about it later, or put it out in the open and see where the conversation leads.
I think, but and to that point, for me, what I've had to work on, because you're like that, is also sharing how I feel. Well, because it's easy to respond and be like, oh, well, okay, I'll go to bed. But I know that I don't want to.
Right. But also in the sense that, like, now you share about your work day and you used to not.
Yeah.
So it's like we're flexible with each other, but we have flexibility, not like that we're just doing whatever we want to do without regard for the other person. We're also very explicitly communicating with each other at every twist and turn what's working and what's not working. When you started getting up so much earlier than me, I was like, I need a kiss from you before you leave, like every day. Like, it makes me happy. And so that made the getting up at different times better. And then when it wasn't as early, I would leave the house with you and go on my morning walk at the same time that you would walk to the bikes. And then you had to communicate to me, that's fine, we've just got to do it like 5 minutes earlier so that I can get to the bike station before all the bikes are gone. And so we just like keep adjusting. Yeah. I would honestly say.
No, I think having the freedom to speak my mind is something that because sometimes I will just eat it. I'm like, okay, well, this will make her feel nice, so I'll just do it. And I won't say where it's frustrating. But I feel like that's been something that I've worked on a ton. And I feel like it's been, you already have really been good at it, just like communicating straight up, like, hey, this is where I'm at, this is how I feel. So I feel like we do a good job of that now.
I agree. I've also noticed like a big difference. Like we also like always have to readjust, and I think we always will have to readjust. But we're both very like emotional people. Mm-hmm. So like there will be times where you like come home from work and there was like a time, like 2 months ago, and I was like, you're being snappy or whatever. And you were like, no, like I'm not being snappy. And then we took literally 2 seconds and it was like, no, like we fell into a pattern where we were like not closing out the stress cycle after like a work day. So we were like being snappy with each other. Yep. Just because you know how to do something doesn't mean that you're always doing it well. You know? Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. There's no point in getting mad at each other. Like, you know this. Da-da-da-da. It's like, right. But life is hard and life is busy. So sometimes we're not operating at our best self.
Neither of us are perfect.
Right. Just like.
Yeah. Acknowledging that, and then also acknowledging that the intention was not to do the opposite.
Right. So to be able to say, like, in that moment, you were able to share with me all of the things that were actually stressing you out, like your emotions, which like maybe in the past, you know, wouldn't have been as feasible for you. And I think that helped you probably get to a place faster where you were able to like let it go. Yeah. Like it wasn't even about me. You know what I mean? It's just like you being able to acknowledge what is stressing you out helps you figure out what you need to not be stressed out faster. And same here. So I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's been very helpful. Yeah. Yeah?
I agree.
Yeah, same. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Love you.
Love you too.
We're going to play a game that is called How Well Does John Know Pop Culture? Are you ready for it? Okay. First question. What do we celebrate on August 1st?
Okay. We're going August by Taylor Swift.
Sing it.
Saw air.
Yeah.
What is it, between her tongue?
And the rust on your door. I never needed anything more.
I do know that. I think that's the only part I know is the beginning.
Okay. Who is Ariana Grande dating?
I almost said Pete.
They literally were like engaged years ago.
Who's she dating now?
Ethan Slater, I think is his last name.
Never heard of that guy.
You don't see?
Never heard of him.
Co-star in Wicked, married, with an infant.
Oh, now she's yep. Okay, I did hear about that. She, yep.
And he looks
Home
ill.
record.
Home record for, yeah.
record.
He got home record. Wow. That's pretty foul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next one. What is the latest on Patrick Mahomes?
That he has a twin who's the quarterback of Nebraska.
Say swear.
No,
You just made that up.
No, the quarterback of Nebraska, who I'm forgetting his name,
Oh.
but came to camp and he looked
The
like
latest on Patrick Mahomes, and not confirming nor denying this, we have no information about this, is that there are videos going around about how he had a threesome in the bathroom of a club in Arizona.
Next. I have not heard that one.
I know. That's why we're playing this game.
That's
crazy. Is
Are
that
people
not?
talking about that?
Yeah, all over TikTok, the app you don't have.
Sheesh.
I know. It was giving me, actually, like, gave me crazy anxiety. I just had to keep swiping away. I was like, I don't want to know anything about this.
Yep. Call me up.
It just gives me immense stress.
That's crazy.
True or not? Because when it's false, like, you have a pregnant wife and you have a whole family unit, and that's just distressing on the entire situation regardless. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
So it's stressful. But who is Selena Gomez dating?
SG, I don't know.
Who?
SG.
Who?
SG, Selena Gomez.
Oh my gosh. Benny Blanco.
Okay, artist.
Songwriter.
Latin artist.
Do you know songs he's written?
I've never dabbled in Benny's music.
Diamonds by Rihanna.
Okay, yep.
Love Yourself by Justin Bieber.
Know that one.
That Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello song.
Okay.
And some Selena songs. That's how they met.
BB.
What artist did Billie Eilish most recently shade?
Shade? She was throwing shade?
Yeah, I know your
Not
girl.
Billy.
Not Billie.
I know she collabed with Lana. That was nice.
Yeah.
I know she ain't throwing no shade at Lana.
She's also, who's the most recent person she's collabing with? Charlie XCX.
Okay. She threw shade at Kanye.
No.
Not who?
Yeah.
Lana?
No.
Taylor?
Yeah.
Really?
Really.
Why?
She made some comment about selling out stadiums and this was like last month. I gave you some time to catch up on that
Y'all
one.
should have known not to mess with Tay.
Bro, I mean, people were like, "We love you." Why,
Yeah. Don't.
She said something about not ever wanting to do a show that long and like no artist needs to or something. And they said, if you can't sell out a stadium, just say so.
Crazy.
Okay. What does TV mean?
Okay. Like the box that we watch. This.
John, we literally already dabbled in this discussion this very God-given day.
I know. TV. I mean, dude, if you just say what is TV, we
You know what it
that
means.
is. But we know what that is. We can't redefine it now. TV is where we watch
What does TV mean
cartoons.
to me?
Taylor's version, I guess.
Thank you so much.
It's ridiculous. She's like Rio Retro TV. And I'm like, is that
Rep
a channel?
TV.
Rep TV.
You're making it so much worse.
I was like, is that a channel that's coming out or something? A streaming service?
Oh my gosh. Rep TV. Okay, you did well. There was one in here that I didn't say. Who did I see at Dante most recently? And who was she with?
You saw the Prince of Wales?
No.
And he was with Bronx.
Oh my god.
She's a swimsuit illustrated.
Bronx?
Bronx Bonk.
Oh.
Brooks Bronco.
I saw Brooks Nader and
I said Brooks.
she was with the Prince of Greece.
Greece.
All right. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
None?
I do.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we were watching the show Receiver
Yes.
recently.
Yes.
I want you to name who the highest paid receiver is in the NFL.
Oh.
I'm going to give you a hint. He was on the show.
Yeah, I know. The guy that still lives with his parents, and he's like half Russian.
No.
And
You're talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown, not him.
Oh yeah, St. Brown.
Not him.
Oh my, the guy that says that he's frugal, but he likes to be iced out.
What was his name?
Is that the one?
Yeah, what was his name?
I don't spend any money, but I do buy millions of dollars worth of diamonds. His name was my least favorite character on the show.
No.
I didn't like him. I told you that from the first.
You said you didn't
episode.
like Amon-Ra St. Brown's
No,
dad at some points.
No. I never said it. I made a face
You made a
that
face that made me
insinuated
think
that I was about to say it
But then he made up for it in the same scene.
before I ever opened my mouth.
Yeah, that's fair. I insinuated that. Yeah.
And then afterwards you said, see, you didn't even need to say what you were about to say because
that's exactly right. Justin Jefferson is the guy.
Justin Jefferson.
He's
the highest paid.
Yes. Who is the receiver that was a girl dad on the show? Plays for the Raiders.
Oh yeah, he was so cute.
He played with the Packers for a while.
You naming the teams as if it's going to give me any type of leg up. I just know what he looks like. So he's like tall and he has really long dreads and he's always matching with that other teammate. They have like the same style.
Yeah,
and they said
Max
that they're like
Crosby.
twins and they like show up together in like the same little outfits and it's really cute. Devontae Adams.
Okay,
Yeah.
last question I have for you because I know we're tight on time.
Okay.
I want to name.
I'm scared this is going to be the worst one.
No, this is gonna be easy.
Or is this all
You're a New
sports
Yorker.
related?
Yeah, just
Oh
straight
my
up.
God, it's
straight up.
so...
I know. Just bring it home. This one will hurt the people.
What do I get from this? You have to watch the Eras movie with me.
If you get this
if I
right.
get it right.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
I want you to name at least 5.
First of
New
all, we
York,
all
stop.
saw you raise 2 fingers.
I want you to
You
name
can't
at least
up
5.
the stakes because I'm getting something out of this now.
This should be easy. Name at least 5 New York teams.
When I get 2,
New
which
York
you know
teams.
that I can do,
New York teams.
the Jets,
Jets.
the Giants,
Giants.
the Yankees,
Yankees.
the Red Sox. No, the Mets. White Sox is Chicago. Red Sox
White
is
Sox is
Boston.
Chicago. Red
Red.
Sox is
Okay.
Boston.
The Mets
So you're at 4.
and the Knicks.
And the Knicks. Wow. I should be more excited. That
And
was
you
good.
went from 2 to 5 for that.
I mean, that was a layup. Bonus.
It wasn't.
Bonus, name one hockey team and I'll throw icing
The
on
Rangers.
Good job. Wow. There it is.
See, John?
Honey, we're
Wow.
home. Wow, we
Honey,
can do both.
we're home. Okay, well, is there anything that you would like to add as we come to the end of our episode?
No, it's always great to be back.
Yeah.
I love the new studio.
Thanks.
I love the vibe in here.
Thank you.
Just
guys
shout
who
out-
gab.
Shout out the first Girls Who Lunch. Got the hat on, Little Mare's material.
Yeah,
And I'm happy to be here.
same.
Thanks
Thanks for gabbing with me today.
Love you.
Love you too.
Yeah.
Bye, guys. We'll see you next week. Stay tuned for more Ladies Who Lunch and episodes, and Nikki will be back soon. Stay hot. Bye.
Bye.